Hello, everybody, and welcome to day number 2. Today is another day to play chess, and hopefully, you and I can get just a little bit better. Today, I'm playing against a subscriber, so if you want to play me in a future video, make sure to join the Discord in the description below. Let's do this thing. All right. So, 1629, this guy's pretty good. So, we gotta lock in. So, my kind of go-to is a Catalan, which would be, moving the pawn here, bishop, castling. Looks like my opponent is going for a King's Indian, though, or could be a Grunfeld, too. So I'm going to play this. I'm expecting that, and we have a King's Indian. So very normal. King's Indian, if you don't know it, you probably should, because it's a defense that you could play against literally any opening. Any opening that white plays, black can play a King's Indian. And maybe white has a little bit of an advantage, potentially, but might not always be great or very easy to prove. So obviously with the King's Indian, you're either going to go with c5 or you're going to go e5. Two options there. It's probably best for me just to push forward. So I'm going to push forward. But this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. I just led a challenge for anyone in the Discord. And 1629, I mean, this is by no means. I'm better, but by no means am I better. You know what I mean? Like, my rating might say it, but when you're playing over the board, I don't know. And apparently my opponent's playing a pterodactyl defense, by the way. This is called a pterodactyl. I didn't even know that. So I think I want to take this way, but I could take this way. But I'm a little bit worried if the pawn comes this way. So I think I want to take with my e-pawn. Although it leaves my king exposed momentarily, I believe I can just block with my bishop. So I believe I'm okay here. I'm going to hope I'm going to be okay. I think I will be. But we need a win after yesterday. My opponent just said, you can't see the chat, but he said, never mind, the cookery did not work. I think you're doing fine though. Like there's no problems here. This is a pretty even position. I'm not good enough to capitalize on the King's Indian like how a stockfish would. So okay, this looks like an indication that he's gonna go for this. I just need to castle though, so I'm gonna castle. If we have this, I think I'm just probably gonna play. No, I don't know though. You know, this is actually, it's a little bit, it's not that easy. It's not quite as easy as you'd like it to be. I don't think I can play b3 because this bishop is really strong. And it's heading right for my rook. And if I don't play this correctly, I might be in some trouble here. So I think my best option is probably just to move my rook. Just move my rook. Very simple. Very, very simple. And my opponent, okay, moves the knight over there. Not what I thought. I thought he was going to go for b5. Obviously can't do that now. So what's my plan? Probably, maybe move my queen up and trade off the bishop. That could be it. My bishop really isn't doing much over here. I think that's pretty solid. Something like this, maybe trade off the bishop. And this is the point in the game when it's kind of difficult to figure out what exactly to do. Like, how do you make progress is oftentimes one of the most difficult things to do. I'm going to play b3 now because I think it's okay. You know, you got to connect 4 here. It looks nice. It looks very nice. Look at all those pawns connected. But it can be difficult here in the middle game to really figure out, what am I doing? What's the plan? And I think my plan is maybe just move my pieces slowly kind of towards the king, build up some more pressure. Okay. But this is interesting. The queen sliding over is an indication to me that maybe a sacrifice is in order here. You could sacrifice the bishop. I'll have to take. You could sacrifice the bishop for 2 pawns. Not a bad call. I think I'm just going to move my king here so that the queen can't get in. That looks like my best option. So I'm going to go for it. It could go for a sacrifice there. That would be completely valid. But yeah, I got to be a little bit cognizant of that because if I'm not careful, it could get bad. It could get bad at any point. Always got to pay attention. Every move that your opponent does, you got to be like, what does that do? And that's interesting. I don't think I want to take that. I don't think there's any need for me. If I take it, the queen just gets in. So instead, I'm going to continue with my strategy, which is to move my knight over. I think my knight isn't really doing much over here. I think it'll be better if I rotate it to either one of these 2 squares. So I'm going to move that. And then if the bishop takes, then I'm kind of trading on my own terms. And the queen doesn't get in. My queen gets a little bit more active. You see? Big noggin. I got a big forehead over here, okay? I got a big forehead. Okay. Knight comes in. So obviously I have a choice. I could just take the knight. Generally, it's better to not trade the bishop for a knight unless you have a good reason for it. Usually bishops are slightly better than knights. Even though they're both worth 3 points, bishops can potentially see more squares. So I don't necessarily want to just take this knight. This is the move that I thought of first, is moving my queen over. I just don't know, though. I could just take. I could, at the end of the day, just take. I don't think that's my... I think I'm just going to slide over. Slide my queen over 1 square. That looks better to me. I think that's probably better. And then I might move my knight, again, to either one of these 2 squares coming up. Not entirely sure yet. Maybe my bishop is better here to target this pawn. Maybe my bishop is better to like control this diagonal. If my king's gonna be here, maybe my bishop's better there. I don't know. I'm not sure where I'm gonna put my knight, but there's a lot of options. I think. So we'll see what my opponent does here. A lot of options. It's a very dynamic game. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of pieces on the board. There's a lot of things to watch out for. So you really gotta pay attention. Ooh, okay. I like these games. I like these. These are fun. Okay. What am I gonna do? I'm still trying to think of my plan. I can't quite figure out where to put my knight. And it's a little bit difficult. I might just have to wait to see what my opponent does. Because I feel like there's so many moves for my opponent in this position. Could be anything. Really could be anything. But I think maybe my knight goes there, but I just don't know. Because if I do that, then I'm going to double my pawns, right? When the knight takes, I double. Or I could, I guess, bring out my king, but then the bishop comes here. Actually, I should probably watch out for that. Maybe I should just leave my knight here in case of this. I think I'm gonna move my rook here. Actually, or wait, or I could take the pawn. Oh, excuse me, take the bishop. When the queen takes back, then the pawn will be doubled. That's what I meant to say. So I think I could actually do that and just double the pawn. That looks good to me. So I think that might have been a slight inaccuracy of sorts there. Just because that pawn is a bit weak now. So obviously I can go and attack it. I can put my knight here. Obviously he doesn't have a fork. Bishop just takes. So I think this works. I don't see a way for him to defend this pawn. So I think that's good for me. Is there a way? No, because the only move that I can see that would work would be the rook coming in, but obviously my knight defends that square. So I think I'm going to win a pawn here, which is good. And then this pawn is looking really weak. This knight might come through clutch here. Oof. Close game though. This is fun. Shout out to my opponent. And again, if you want to join the Discord, if you want to play me, join the Discord. You know what to do. Link in the description. Okay, so where's that knight going? That knight obviously has eyes here, 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 and of course at this knight, if it's gonna make forward progress. But I think I can just take this. I really don't see why I couldn't. I mean, the bishop is open too. The bishop could go there, but I don't really see anything. I think I can just take that pawn. That looks like a free pawn. No strings attached. So we're good. Also, one thing I want to mention is that I like how I've turned on like natural for these pieces. I just like how they jiggle a little bit. One. See that? All right, I'm just gonna take this. I could just not take it and play like G3, which is also tempting, but I don't think there's really any need for it. I'm just wondering if that pawn here will be a little bit too strong later on. So I could play this. I'm thinking about it. No, I don't like it, because if I play g3, I feel like there might be some sacrifice potential or something, and then he might be able to win my bishop when I take with this pawn. I don't know. There's something there, I think. I don't feel like calculating it. I think I'm just going to take. Let's just not waste too much time. Take. Oh, wait, yeah. Because he has to take with the rook, right? Otherwise, I win this pawn. No, I don't. No, after I kick out the knight. Right. I gotta think this through. Hold on. There's a lot of things going through my brain right now. So if I don't think he did that right. Because if I kick out the knight, then I think I can win this pawn. Actually, where's that knight going to go? Oh no, it's going to go to this square. Or he could potentially counterattack me. It's not a bad idea either, if there is a way to do that, which I don't think there is. So I think I'm good to win this pawn after the knight moves. So we deflect the knight, or kick out the knight, whatever you call it, and we win that pawn. So we might be up 2 pawns here, which is good. That's good for me. It's very slight. Everything is just very, very slight. It was pretty tight. But then you just poke and prod, you find a little bit of a weakness, then gotta capitalize. That's what I'm trying to do here. Okay. We take that. Good. Good, good, good. Alright, so I'm up 2 pawns. I'm cleanly up 2 pawns. I'm looking good. Let's see if we can close this out. I hope so. I really hope so. Okay, obviously the knight is attacking my bishop. I'm going to drop it back. I have a decision. I can bring it back this way or somewhere this way. I think it would probably be best if I went... Not quite sure, actually. Yeah, I'm just going to do this. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think it matters too much. Just bring it back. Unless I'm missing something. Really hope not. Alright. We're even on time. I'm doing better than yesterday. If you didn't watch yesterday's video, we played a King's Gambit. My opponent played a King's Gambit against me, which is my least favorite opening to play. And that was tough. That was a tough game for me. Definitely did not win that one. So I need some redemption today. So obviously I could take this pawn. Knight comes in. Bishop's here. I don't think I mind too much. I don't think I mind too much at all. I'm good with just trading that. I don't really see a major threat there. So if the knight comes and takes this pawn, which I would expect. Sorry, my opponent just said in chat, does it count as cheating if I'm using your video on the lemon opening for reference? Oh my gosh, that's funny. I like that. All right. He's throwing me off. He's playing mind games here. Okay, no, we're good. We're good. I'm just gonna maybe move my rook here. Look for a trade, just to simplify the position. Because when you're up material, it's better to trade pieces. Because the less pieces that are on the board, if you already have more pieces, I'm already up 2 pawns. I want to trade as many pieces as possible. Because then it'll make it harder for my opponent to win. So obviously I need to take this first. Take it with check. Then I'll take back the knight. So, still up 2 pawns here. Still looking good. We are down to a knight and a rook endgame. Where I'm up 2 pawns. I should be able to win this. And immediately I'm looking at this square right here, right? It's looking good. Obviously, he had to move 1 piece off of like this mega fork here with 3. But I'm still going to go here because this pawn is looking juicy. And even though he can defend it, I'm kind of making his pieces... Like, I'm just going to not move my pieces now. So he has to like stay right there. And now I'm going to move my pawns forward. I think I might move this one forward first. I think that works. I'm going to do that just to prevent his knight from moving forward. Still 2 minutes 43 seconds on the clock. Still looking good. Gotta lock in, focus up. Make sure we win this. If I lose this, I'm gonna lose 17 Elon. That'd be bad. Ooh. So obviously you can't. I was thinking of this. You can't do that because otherwise check comes in and the game is over because of a discovered check. Well, it's not over, but it would be much more difficult to win. I think I want to do. I want to go for this. I should go for this. I'm gonna go for this. Maybe he can. Maybe there's something here with the rook and him picking out my knight to win the pawn. There might be something. I should have maybe spent a little bit more time on that move. Or no. Or maybe I can just push. I think I can just push. If he plays this, I think I can just push my pawn and defend my knight. I think this works. Looks good to me. So I'm going to go for it. If he takes, I take back. My knight stays defended. And he can't kick out my knight. Win any pawn. This pawn is defended. So now, what I can do is, I could drop back to here. I'm threatening a fork on this square. My opponent has to see that. And then I have these 2 pawns, which are just going to go. And we're looking good. We're looking real good. My opponent definitely saw the fork there. I'm going to just push. I think. I might just push this pawn. I'm not sure which pawn is better to push first, but I'm going to push this one and then push this one after. Just because this one is defended by both my knight and my rook. But yeah, okay. I probably should have seen. But I think I can just slide over here 1 square. Just got to make sure there's no forks. My king and my rook, because that's the real killer. And then obviously he blocks. Okay, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense here. Now what? Now I'm probably gonna move my rook maybe to the open file. Try to maybe pick up this pawn. Got this knight and try to continue to push. Gotta just somehow get our pawns to the end here. A good move. That kicks out my knight. I could just do this and try to counterattack here, which I might try to go for. I'm really running out of time here, so we gotta be careful. I think I'm gonna go for this. All right, I have a minute left, so I might not talk as much as I try to focus and make sure I win this game. It'd be very bad if I lose on time. That would be embarrassing. So, obviously he can go for this pawn, but my king is close enough, so I'll be okay. And also, if I can trade off his rook, because his rook and his king are on the same file, I have to do maybe this move, just to be safe here. You can't really escort this pawn because the rook is stuck. Like, it can't go to this square. But now what I'm going to do is this, which forces a trade. And my king is close enough where I can, I believe, still win this. So now I can take this pawn. And he can't take this pawn. My pawns are basically like bulletproof. Because you can't take this pawn. Because then this pawn would go. When there's only kings and pawns on the board, you gotta be careful of these pawns, the backwards pawns here. So I'm gonna move forward here. I just really gotta make sure there's no stalemate. Stalemate would be embarrassing. But I think I'm pretty good here. I just gotta do this, move my pawn up, and we're gonna queen, and we're gonna win this game. And there you go. That's how you do it. GG's. Well played. Great game, by the way. Very well done. Only 1 mistake. Better than yesterday. Let's see how we did. Well played. Very well played by my opponent. Just like one slight weakness with that doubled pawns, and then kind of everything just fell apart. But 88.6 is very good. And that was a great game. Obviously, this is King's Indian. A lot of theory here. I didn't know that was theory, but 10 moves in, we're all playing book moves still. But really, I think just a slight inaccuracy, especially there. I think that was the big mistake right there with moving the knight back. I was winning here, but that really sealed it. +3. That's tough, and that's a great move. And then really things fell apart from there. But yeah, very well played by my opponent. Just like one minor thing can make the difference. But it was a great game nonetheless. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. And subscribe.